713-1446 or visit thespecific.com. Well, good evening, everyone. How you all doing out there? I have Brandon and Sierra with me tonight. How you guys doing?
Hey, good.
Just fine.
Cool, and I actually upped your volumes correctly this time, so it works out. Well, this is Right On Air on KZFR, and it's a show where we take submissions from anyone, really, anyone who likes to write, and we air their pieces, show them what it's like to be on the radio, and just kind of celebrate writing in general. Anything you want to add to that?
No, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. The only thing I'd add is this is a show about appreciating writing. We aren't here to critique you. We aren't here to put you down. We aren't here to pick your piece apart. We aren't going to be rating pieces. We're here to appreciate what you've written.
Yes, which makes it a really relaxed setting, which brings us to our second point. Do submit. Please submit and be on the show. And you can do so at write.onair@gmail.com.
That is WRITE.onair@gmail.com.
It's like we practice, Brendan.
Well, it's not like we do this every 2 weeks.
That's true. Yeah, well, we'll go ahead and get into it. We've got 3 pieces tonight for you guys. The first one is by Lillie Alsky. She's submitted before. Thank you again. Thank you for submitting. And everyone else who submitted, because you guys make this show. So we'll just dive right into that.
When he touched me, his fingers found their way through flesh beyond sticky innards, somewhere in the beyond, the metaphysical of my heart, and he touched my soul. When I touched him, I made contact with flesh, skin against skin. My fingers wouldn't reach beyond. They weren't long enough.
Oh. That's such a good piece. Man, I mean, we're shuffling the paper around right now so we can look at it. I feel the disconnect there. I mean, it's as it says.
Wow.
I reached out and touched him, and it was just physical, but he touched me in a completely, wholly, infinitely deeper way.
Wow. I really like this piece. It reminds me of a piece that we read in the past. I like that idea of kind of the unrequited love. Yeah. It's the same kind of concept, you know. He reaches beyond her, but she's just touching his flesh, which is a really good analogy for that situation. I like that.
It aches to read it. When he touched me, his fingers found their way through flesh, beyond my inside, somewhere beyond, to the metaphysical of my heart. He touched my soul, period. There's the end of the stanza right there, and then there's a completely second part, which actually that's a really interesting dynamic for the poem itself. The first, and you can't see this, so I'll describe it as best I can. The first 5 stanzas, 6 stanzas are one section, and then it has a definite ending at touched my soul, period. And there's a second part where she has touched him. So there's even a separation of the writing itself. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you said the title of this at the beginning, but it's Extents, which is, you ponder that for a second too. That's another good one. But there's 2 separate dynamic parts. Actually 3 now that I'm looking at it. We do these usually cold reads, so I'm kind of experiencing the same stuff as everyone else is who is listening right now. So, yeah.
It's a tragic thing. I mean, how many times does that happen? You are deeply touched by someone, and I know it happens a lot for me. It's just, you know, you meet someone and you're really interested in them. It's not always, you know, reciprocated, and that's a really difficult thing to deal with, and it's a huge human experience, and I think she put it into words really well.
Probably like the, you know, nail on the head for most love stories out there.
A lot, yeah.
Well, the thing is, I'm not sure if it's that way, because it seems like both sides of this want to be with each other and like each other. Just one has a deeper connection than the other, because she's still reaching out to him, trying to reach him, but she just can't reach as deep as he can.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, sometimes emotional depth is hard. People can't really open up. That's a really interesting concept.
Man, that piece is so good. All right, well, we have other pieces we got to move on to. We will come back to these towards the end, but I like to kind of get through these pieces.
Yeah. Do a little synthesis at the end. Sounds great.
Exactly. So this next one is submitted by Anonymous. I don't think there was any background information on this one. Cool. Yeah, I just checked with my associates here in the department, and there was no background on this. So, by Anonymous, it's called I Am. I feel too empty for this to be real. I just need to heal. I feel too empty to be totally whole. Life is taking its toll. On my brain, I'm insane. I am losing myself, nothing stays. My emotions sway, I'm no better today than I was years ago, selling my soul for happiness, though. I drown myself in affection, hoping to acquire interaction that makes for a distraction. I am a fraud.
Oh man, I can't.
Wow.
That
First off, the
is
rhyming.
deep.
Yeah, the rhyming was great.
Love a good rhyming poem.
And that's it. Moving on.
No.
Brandon's taking a look at this right now. That piece was, whew.
Pretty raw.
Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, it makes me think about the whole like being a fraud concept. Have you ever heard the song "The Stranger" by Billy Joel?
I think so, yeah.
It's all about, putting on a mask every day. And I feel like a lot of people kind of go through that, They have kind of this persona that they live through in their lives, but maybe deep down they know that it's not real and they have a hard time.
Yeah. It's really a mental discussion or mental anxiety right there.
Yeah.
It's being...
Yeah, it really sounds like this person is trying to find meaning in life.
Yeah.
And is, by the sounds of it, trying to drown themselves in affection to distract themselves. Trying to just group people around themselves as a distraction.
Yes, I mean, I relate as an extrovert. It's a coping mechanism to just kind of ignore the raw parts of you where you're in pain and just kind of surround yourself with people who can just kind of distract you. You can live that persona while you're with other people and you don't have to feel empty.
Yeah. So that whole phrase, fake it till you make it, or something like that. Fake it till it's real. There's some phrase there.
Fake it till you make it. Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty lighthearted for the
piece.
depth of this, but yeah.
My emotions sway, I'm no better today than I was years ago. There's that want towards the past, which I think a lot of people crave too. They look at what was and see it always as better sometimes. Usually, not always, but in some cases.
Well, I think in this case, I'm no better than I was years ago. Like, nothing has changed. Yeah.
I see. Consistency of negativity.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That is such a good piece.
I mean, yeah, it can be hard to look back and realize that you're in the same spot that you've always been in. Oof.
Stuck in a rut. Wow, that's such a strong piece.
Great.
Great.
Thank you, Anonymous.
Yeah, thank you so much for submitting that. It was extremely, extremely good. Well, we have one more piece by... I'll let you introduce this one.
This is my piece. My name is Sierra Hall, and I think it's pretty relevant for now.
Actually, let me grab it one more time. I just want to check something. Okay.
Great.
All right, we'll get right into it.
This piece is called Summer. I'm more beautiful in the summer. My skin is clearer, so is my mind. I awake from my bed with no reason or rhyme. There's empty space, time to waste. No need to face failure or mistakes. I'm more beautiful in the summer. My heart is full, so is my tummy. In summer, I find watermelon most yummy. Creativity flows like a Chico Creek. It's adventures I seek. I am alive, I thrive like a busy beehive. I'm more beautiful in the summer, and it doesn't matter. Nothing does. So make a wish on some dandelion fuzz. Summer fling, diamond ring, anything. It's summer.
I love that you're here for that.
Yes.
Because Brandon and I have had many discussions actually on the importance of, well, not the importance, but the dynamic that having the artist in the station brings to their own piece. Because I wouldn't have read it like that.
Oh yeah.
No.
You had the exact intent and meaning of what you wanted, and you got it across perfectly, and it was vibrant. For any other way that I can describe it.
I think that's really true. I mean, intent is everything. I think that's all, like, pretty much what rhetoric is all about, and you can decipher that yourself, but you really need the author to have the true meaning, I guess.
Yeah.
But I wrote this piece because, I don't know, I'm starting to feel summer, and I love Chico summers, just the creeks and Upper Park, and there's just so many beautiful sights to see, and I love the freedom of summer. I guess I started this poem when I was a little younger, and I kind of have been revamping it every year. And I think I was mostly talking about school. Like, when you don't have school, there's a lot you can do.
Yeah.
These days, it's a little different, but...
Recent graduate, free time. I love your line in here, creativity flows like a Chico Creek. That's such a... I love that. Because, that's Chico.
It is.
In a nutshell, there's a river that runs through it. That's a movie, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Quote.
Yeah, I like that. I think Chico itself, like, it has the creeks, but it also has the vibrancy and the movement of a creek. I think it's got a lot of energy, and I love that.
I'm going to take it that you probably like summer more than any of the other seasons.
Oh,
correct?
I like fall a lot. So I'll write a poem then, too.
Okay, we'll have you back.
Great.
Any comments, Brennan?
It's hard without...
Yeah,
it's hard to process.
we have one piece of paper in here, so we're passing around as much as we can. I liked it a lot. That was a great piece. I mean, it just... First off, the two dynamics that you have here is you reading it and then how you wrote it, too. Like, it just... I think it really encompasses Chico and summer.
Oh, great. 'Twas my intent.
Yeah, there is one stanza in here that I do really like, because to me it always summed up what I felt in summer. There's empty space, there's time to waste, no need to face failure or mistakes. That's summer. There's all the time in the world to sit around and do nothing. It's too hot.
And that can be a beautiful thing. Just doing nothing. Yeah.
Good time. Go out there this summer and do nothing for a day.
Absolutely. Do it
Or
at
all
any
summer.
Chico Creek.
Exactly.
Just sit there, read a book, read some poetry.
I also like to pulling back more from the piece. We each had parts that we related to more, I would say, which is a really, in my opinion,
sign of a relatable piece. I mean,
key
there's
point of
something
good
for
writing.
everyone.
Yeah, good writing is relatable to multiple people, I think.
Wow.
Because you pull out different things, it strikes people differently. That's what makes
Thank
this
you.
this
That's
art
really
format.
good
Yeah,
praise.
it makes this art format really, really poignant, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, so I feel like we've got two little darker pieces. Mine's bubblier for the summer.
Different nuances, yeah. I think the first one here. All right, Brennan, let's see if we can do it. How do these pieces relate?
Yeah, they're all so different. It's hard.
We're going to Kevin's stretching hour.
We get an hour for this? Oh, I'm so excited.
No, thank God we don't.
I have to say, I noticed, I think that all of them are from an I perspective. Do you know what I mean? Like, none of the,
First
all of these
person?
poems are in the first person. It's a narrator talking about themselves. Like, even one, it's called I Am. So there's a lot of, yeah, like, I could have written this poem just talking about summer, but I decided to involve myself.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting thing. I mean, I'm kind of a narcissist, so I mean, that's the reason for that. But why do you think, I mean, these other poems do it too? Do you think it's more impactful? Do you put yourself in the poem because of that?
Well, first person is the most common.
Most common, okay.
It's actually, as a writer, I've actually tried doing second and third person, and it's actually really difficult. I have a really great appreciation for those people that can pull it off.
At Harry Potter, just saying. Really good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Harry Potter isn't even third person. It's written from the perspective of individuals. It's still a first person
well,
narrative.
kind of. I mean, it's like, there's a word for it, but we don't know it right now, I don't think. It's where there's an outside narrator, but it, switches between perspectives. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like J.K. Rowling talking, basically.
Well, this perspective makes it very personal to the writer themselves, which I think in turn makes it personal to the reader.
Well, it could also bring about a discussion of, just perception in general. It's easier kind of to describe a situation or something from your perspective because that's the one you're most familiar with. It really shows good writing if you can kind of take it from a different angle. But I mean, these are great too. But I'm just,
Well, then most things would be written in second perspective then, which is essentially the perspective of an observer, essentially telling someone what you saw.
For those who aren't following, too, in a short, compacted, minute-long sentence, first person, second person, third person.
Okay, first person perspective in writing is when you are talking from in your own head, essentially.
I
am doing this,
Which
I'm
is
looking
what
at this,
these are.
I'm smelling this. Second person is when you have an outside observer that's still part of the situation, describing what they're seeing, but they are not the main character. They are generally not named. They are never directly involved in the story. Think of them as a cameraman. And then third person is generally termed third person omniscient. You have an all-knowing narrator looking around, describing to you like they're watching from above. There's
Like they don't exist
yes,
as a character.
there's never any I's or we's or me's. It's all talking from, it's all just observing, like an exterior camera, but you know that they can ghost through walls, and you'll get little snippets of the narrator themselves talking about things that characters could never know, see, hear, or understand.
Good info. Good stuff we got.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was making the point that these are all first person. Would you
Yes.
agree? Yeah.
Yeah, makes it a bit more personal in my opinion. And it's also, it kind of bleeds into the writing as therapy aspect as well,
I
in
like
my
that.
opinion. Because first person, I think you get more of the therapeutic
It's more like a
aspects.
journal entry when you kind of talk
Yeah.
about yourself.
More of an impression of yourself. Because the other ones require you to detach a little bit. You can still use those as like some sort of, therapeutic session or something like that. But I feel this is the most common one if you're trying to get something out from a personal perspective. The other ones you have to kind of jerry-rig it a little bit differently. But yeah, that's my perspective on it, I guess.
It depends on the person. I've known some people that find it easier to write in second person because they write the way they would if they were telling someone a story. So I saw, or this person did. That's generally how they write, because they write like they're taking an account of something, and that's easier for them because it does detach them, but it lets them kind of create a play before them that they can describe
That's pretty
and let their emotions out that way.
I like that. Yeah. Okay. Also, I just this is only specific to one, but I noticed a line that I really, really liked in the Extents poem by Lillie Cotree. Is that right?
Alsky.
What? Oh, Alsky. Oh, got it. Okay. It says, it's the whole thing about how he touched her, but she couldn't really get as deep. So it said, my fingers wouldn't reach beyond. They weren't long enough. And I think that a lot of times when you're in a situation like this, where it is unreciprocated, I think you kind of blame yourself, and you decide to kind of blame certain aspects of who you are, or maybe even your appearance. And so I think that might represent that, experience in this, exchange. So
That's
her,
what makes it so
her
personal.
fingers weren't long enough.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous if you think of it that way, because obviously there's something way deeper. It's just a lack of connection between them, but she decides to say, my fingers weren't long enough.
Yeah. Comes back.
And I think that's tragic and very relatable.
I think it's wonderful too, because you're able to track that back to characteristics of the person, and that's what makes writing so unique
Yeah,
to
that's
each person,
interesting.
because that is written from within someone's head, pretty much.
Yeah.
Coming from their exact perception of the world, and you're able to track that back and be like, I think this little telling dynamic is showing something else about this person.
Yes, you can
Which-
learn a lot about a person from their poetry, which is why we want to hear all of your poetry.
Do submit at write.onair@gmail.com. Good
Absolutely. Little plug. Shameless.
Plug. Oh, definitely shameless. Yeah. I'm trying to think of something else I wanted to say about these. Hang on, let me grab this piece of paper here.
I will say I do like your summer poem because it's free, it's loud, it's unrequited, it's just trying to say I love this thing, and this is fun. It's not like a lot of the other poems and stories we get submitted that are generally,
Dark, maybe.
well, writing is one of the largest forms of self-therapy, so
Yeah, totally. And I've written my fair share of dark poetry as well. But yeah, I thought it would be nice to just kind of write something a little lighthearted for the summer. Kind of have that Chico energy in there.
Yeah, definitely nailed it, I would say. I love it's adventure I seek. I'm alive, I thrive like a busy beehive, which also is like ringing of summer. You had so many like nice dandelion, beehive, summer flame.
Dandelion, for some reason, is my theme for the summer. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it's... the dandelion is a beautiful symbol of summer to me, somehow, even though it's a weed.
It's only a weed by human standards. if you
Fair
think
enough.
about it.
Fair enough.
Actually, really, anything is always by human standards because we name everything.
Wow. We're getting real deep on here, folks.
Writing on air. Yeah. Oh, I need a piece of paper there.
We haven't talked much about this second piece. I wanted to find maybe something that I like.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That was the I am one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, that was a rough one.
It's hard to unpack because it's so raw.
Yeah.
Each word means exactly what it means, and so it's hard for me to be like, what could this possibly mean, you know?
There's a really interesting dynamic, too, before I'm going to cut you off real quick.
Yeah, no problem.
There's two types of ways. I mean, there's multiple ones, but I'll say largely they kind of fall in two categories of descriptive and not as descriptive, I would say. So there's, explicit and non-explicit.
Definitely.
So there's saying exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Being like, this is red, and it's like blood. Like, there's an exact correlation.
Totally.
Everything is face value. You can read into that, but mainly it's face value. And then there's the non-explicit, where things are alluded to.
Literary devices.
Are used. There's a little bit more
metaphors.
I don't want to say depth, because depth is maybe a rating system, but there's things you have to read into in order to understand it more.
Right.
And
what I love about poetry is that either of those are like equal in my mind as far as, I mean, I guess depth, because I mean, when you write something exactly what you mean, it can be raw and it can be relatable. And then I also love poetry that is kind of that like non-explicit with, you know, literary devices and such, so that it can be interpreted in many different ways. So both of them are beautiful in their own way. I like that.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say, though, this one is the more explicit.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, one of the lines is, "I'm insane." That's...
Can't read much more into that one, I don't think.
No.
Yeah, it seems like it's just someone breaking down and realizing that all they've been doing for years is trying to cope with a problem they haven't been willing to face.
It's true. Oh, and the first line is, "I feel too empty for this to be real." I like that truth there, because I feel like sometimes when things are not going super well for you, you kind of dissociate. You kind of decide to, like, you're not sure what's real. Like, there's kind of a shaky line of, you know, reality, because you don't want to live your own reality.
Yeah.
So that's really hard, and it's really sad.
The I Am one and the one by Lillie both feel really written from the perspective of locked in your own head. As in, you can't quite see out of it. Everything is just right in front of you.
Definitely.
Kind of tunnel vision in some senses, I guess. And that's, oh man, those are really the toughest spots to be in when there's some sort of depressive situation going on, because it's hard to get out of those.
It's true. And to Lillie and Anonymous, I hope you feel better. Life is good. Read my summer poem. Have a good time. But, you know, it's never that easy. But thank you for these submissions. Very relatable. Yeah. Hard to read, though.
Hard to read. I do love them, though. I guess we're at the point now where we should talk about the show when you're in the end of it. And we don't, well, I was reviewing some of the tapes. We don't actually have these on tapes. They're all on YouTube, which is what we're going to segue into. You can submit, and you can find this stuff on YouTube and all that. And you guys really do make this show. I mean, I came up here a few years ago and found KZFR and started doing this, and I've fallen in love with it. And I've met some amazing people through doing this show and just being part of this, and through KZFR, and just people who've submitted. And it is incredibly simple and easy. Most people I talk to get a little bit nervous when I tell them I'm on radio and I do this. You can come on there and be on there too. But I cannot stress enough, this is the most relaxed
It is
atmosphere.
so chill. And the first time I submitted a piece and got to listen to Kevin and Brandon discuss it on air, super exciting, really good, you know, just exposure for the work.
Yeah.
Man, it's really great. You definitely should submit. And Kevin's had people on here, like published authors, which is so cool. Yeah. And that could be you someday. Who knows? Someone will hear your poetry. Maybe someone will relate to it and they'll be able to, you know, live their lives better or feel like they're not alone in their problems. So it's important that you submit your work. Your art needs to be seen.
Hint, hint, could be a resume builder. I've been on
resume builder. Oh yes, tell people that you've been on KZFR. You've had your poetry read
in a professional setting, although a relaxed professional setting, I should say. Embellish a bit on your own stuff.
It's hard to stretch KZFR as professional, since we're just a large group of volunteers
but
that
there
they
you
gave
go.
a mic and
there's another reason
to.
Why you shouldn't be nervous is we're all just chill. We're students. We'd love to hear from the student community. We've got such an awesome student community in Chico. Lots of good ideas, lots of good poetry, art, whatever.
Fun fact about that, when I first started the show, I had limited this submission basis to only students, because I was going to Chico State at the time.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah, just make it students only. And I went to the English department and got a lot of people and network connections there. And since then, I've recently opened it up.
Yeah, because it's about writing. It's not necessarily about who's doing the writing. Anyone that, and I was going to say anyone that's an amateur author, but at this point, we've even opened it up to actual published authors, because we just want to hear your work.
Yeah.
We want to read it. If we can, we would love to have you here and discuss it with you, because it's just so nice to hear what the author has to say. I love the shows that we've been doing with Jan Matthews, because she comes in, she brings 4 or 5 pieces of show, and we get a lot of background on the pieces, and we get to talk with her. And Kevin and I have come up with different interpretations of her poems that she said that she's loved because she never thought that her work could be interpreted that way.
Yeah, please be part of this. I mean, for Brandon and I, this is a hobby. I've always liked radio because I grew up with Frasier, and that was my big thing, a radio star and stuff. So when I found out there was a radio show here, I was ecstatic. And when I found out I could make it my own and do my own writing theme show, why not? So please do submit. And like I said, we have an email that you can submit to, write.onair@gmail.com. I upload the shows on a relatively consistent basis to YouTube, Writing on Air on YouTube. Brandon laughs because I am forgetful, and oftentimes I do submit or upload those late.
If you're lucky, it'll be up within a week.
Yeah,
if you're lucky.
It depends on the week, I suppose. I am getting better on that. I will try to, after this tonight, I will upload this show as quickly as I can. That way it's on air. Actually, it might not be tonight, because sometimes the shows, usually you can find them on KZFR's website right afterwards, under my Writing on Air tab, which is another thing you can do. Information-wise, you can go onto the show, or the radio station's website, KZFR, and find out the stuff there and do all that.
Yeah, that's kzfr.org. And we will say sometimes our recording system is not the best, which is why we have a hard time uploading it.
Yeah.
So sometimes part of the show might be on the previous show or the next show, or so we try and get those worked out.
We're blaming it on everyone else. It's definitely lots of little problems here and there, but yeah, this is Writing on Air, and I thank you guys for submitting. Thank you, Lillie. Thank you, Sierra. Thank you, Anonymous. You guys make the show, and this is what I love doing, so please keep submitting. write.onair@gmail.com. Yeah, thank you guys. Well, this is Writing on Air. Writing on Air is made possible by the generous contributions of KZFR supporters and by Harrison Daily Wright Accountancy Corporation in Chico. Harrison Daily Wright provides certified public accountants specializing in accounting and bookkeeping services, auditing, tax prep and planning, management support, services for nonprofit organizations, and more. To reach Harrison Daily Wright, call 895-1209. This is FM 90.1 KZFR Chico, listener-supported community radio for the Sacramento Valley, the foothills, and beyond. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.